Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for FCFP's grant workshop for 2024. Today, we will review the specifics on applying for a grant through FCFP and the grant opportunities that we have for the year. In addition to that, we do have some services I wanted to review with you. I am Betty Gilmore, the Director of Grant Making. I've been with the foundation since 2008. New to our staff is Lorna Zajac. She's our Grant Making Associate. She's been here since September of last year. Those that have worked with me in the past may start seeing Lorna's name in some email correspondence as we move forward. Lorna is going to be taking over some transactional items from my office that will get me out of my office and visiting the local communities. We do have our finance associate, Amy Paust, who is on today, who will be manning the chat and the question and answer portion. So I'd like to go through the entire presentation and then we'll come back and review the questions. I'm not going to read all of the vision statement, diversity statement, and vision statement right here. They're there on your screen. In addition, this PowerPoint will be uploaded on our website later today, as well as a recording of today's session. So you'll be able to get hard copies of printouts of all of the slides for today. Nonprofit services and opportunities for nonprofits that have participated in the past for Raise the Region, or even new nonprofits if you're joining us. We are having Raise the Region again, March 13 and 14 for verified 501c3 nonprofits in the following counties there. Register at raisetheregion.org through February 16. I do want to highlight specifically GiveGab has a blue chat bubble for questions. It's in the bottom right of the screen once you go to raisetheregion.org. If you have any questions as far as navigating the site, doing your registration, taking a look at what you perhaps had uploaded last year, we ask you to start with the chat bubble from GiveGab. Most often than not, they will have the answer prior to calling or emailing a staff member here at FCFP. So please keep in mind the blue chat bubble is your first question and answer option. The foundation still holds a subscription to the Foundation Center by Candid. This database has over 200,000 foundations, corporations, government agencies as a grant research database that we hold here on a computer. You are welcome as a nonprofit to come to our Philanthropy Center in downtown Williamsport to utilize the Foundation Center for free between 9 and 4. If you'd like to make an appointment to come in for the Foundation Center, you can contact Lorna. There's her email there. She will set up a 1-hour session with me the first time to walk through it with you. Once you get comfortable, you can make an appointment at any time to come in and use the Foundation Center. We do just ask for you to make an appointment to make sure that it is available. I also wanted to highlight candid.org. This is a database with a plethora of information for nonprofits that you can utilize a lot of this information for free. If you just go to candid.org, you'll see their websites there on the left of additional information that you have access to. Candid Learning is really the best place to start for other services that they might offer or webinars that they might offer. I do also make a suggestion to subscribe to Candid and Foundation Directory YouTube channels. A lot of the materials and the sessions that Candid offers, they have on their YouTube channels for free that you can watch their videos right there. I did want to highlight 2 upcoming sessions for you that are free. Again, going to candid.org to Candid Learning on the 23rd of January next week, they're going to host an introduction to fundraising planning. You see the dates and times there. And then 2 days later, January 25th, an introduction to finding grants. These are just the most recent webinars that they have upcoming that are free to nonprofits, and you are again free to log in and take a look at those. I'd now like to go over the submission overview with you, looking at the eligibility and restrictions. I have screenshots of the application and some grant requirements. We'll review quickly the post-program project evaluation, and then at the end, we will have our opportunities and deadlines for our competitive field of interest funds. Eligibility to apply for a grant through FCFP, qualified 501c3 public charity, non-public charity nonprofit that requires additional vetting. We can consider C4s, 5s, 13s, things along that line, but again, additional vetting for that. A unit of government is fine. And if you do not have your own qualified 501c3, you can work with a fiscal sponsor that is willing to accept those grant dollars on your behalf and help you with your program. Obviously, have a request that directly benefits the constituency or the program related to each specific fund. And also do not have an open grant or outstanding final evaluation. This is specific to a fund you're applying for. If you received a grant from a specific fund in 2023 and that grant is still open or your evaluation is not complete, you will be unable to apply for new dollars in 2024. If you are a previous grantee and you're not quite sure where you are in the evaluation stage, please give me a call at the foundation or email me and we'll take a look and see what we still need to move forward. Restrictions and limitations. A lot of this is legal based, and we do work with our board of directors on what we are looking to consider and what we will not with our competitive grant cycles. You see the list there, annual campaigns, costs that were incurred prior to the anticipated grant approval date. What that means is we won't pay for receipts, or invoices. Grants should all be considered for new programming that's coming up in the future. Regranting on a case-by-case basis, I want to give a little further information there. That is if you ask for a grant, that you would give those dollars to another nonprofit to utilize their services. More often than not, we will not consider that. So if you are working with a nonprofit on a program, certainly give me a call ahead of time and we can review how the submission should look. Restrictions and limitations that are not all inclusive. Some of these are specific for individual funds. All of the guidelines for each fund will be in the online portal when you log in and choose a specific fund. So highlighting some of these here, general operating expenses include salaries, office needs, utilities, and rent that would not be considered under specific funds. Religious organizations can only apply through a secular qualified 501c3 public charity for community-wide programs, and individual school districts and school district foundations can only apply if they're collaborating with one or more other districts. Now to review our application. We have some screenshots here. This is a screenshot of our website directly. All the way over to the right in the top, you'll see receive grants and scholarships. If you hover there, you'll see grants and scholarships again, and click on grants to get to the next page. That arrow there is for your convenience. That is not actually on the website. Once you hit grants, you will receive a whole list of grants that we have for the foundation with individual tiles that you can click on to look at the guidelines. But if you scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, you'll see me there in a little bubble. If you click the Apply Now button in that bubble, you will go right to this screen, which is the grant application. If you have an email, if you've done this before, again, your email and password. If you are a new applicant, clicking New Applicant will take you to this screen. Your email address, confirmation of email address, and a password. They have recently required passwords for 12 characters with the database that we're using. So please keep in mind as you're choosing a password. In addition, if you and an additional team member will be working on the same grant, I can suggest either utilizing one or the other email to be the main email that you would use to log in, or even perhaps creating a dummy email that you both could access. Each grant itself can only have one email attached to it. An organization can have several users, but each individual application can only have one. Once you're into the application, you'll see this screen. You'll have the orange box on the left at the top that says applications. You will go down to number 5 for our competitive field of interest fund application and click on the word here. Once you get there, you will then be asked which fund you would like to apply for. So that drop down box will have all of our funds. You'll click one that you're interested in. If you do click one that is not available at the moment, you will get this note. If you have a question on one that you're choosing that you believe is supposed to be open and you get this message, please give me a call and let me know. Might be an issue with the database that I can update for you. Do want to highlight again that if you are going to complete an application for additional funds, you will have to make an individual application for each of those. Your main organization information carries over, but all of the question and answers from there will be blank, that you would have to rewrite all of that. If you're applying for something very similar, I would suggest perhaps writing that all up on a Word document that you can just copy and paste into the online application. Once you choose your fund, the first thing then will be to enter your tax ID, your EIN number. This EIN number will be cross-referenced with GuideStar. If you are a qualified 501c3, more than likely, this will just send you right through. If you are not a C3 organization, or you are a government entity or a religious organization, GuideStar usually does not have you in their database. You may receive a note that says your EIN is invalid. Please call to confirm. If you click OK, you should bypass that. But if you are concerned that you may not qualify for a grant from FCFP, give me a call and we can discuss ahead of time before you move much further. I have a few of the highlights here for these tabs at the top. This is the very first page of the grant application. Tips and tricks there. There's some information in the middle of the page about FCFP, and at the bottom of each of these grant application pages will be the full guidelines for each individual fund, how much is available to grant, all of those very specific limitations and requirements, and additional information on the deadline date and the notification date. I don't have screenshots of each individual tab, but I do want to highlight 2 as you continue to move forward. All the way over on the right, when you get to the end on the certification page, at the very bottom, you'll see final instructions with an option to save and finish later or review and submit. If you click review and submit, this is not a submission of your application. Review and submit takes you to the next tab on the right that says review my application. Then you scroll all the way to the bottom and see the word submit. At that point, that is when your application does go through into our database. If you're not sure, again, if you've had that or not, if you don't receive the next message that's there on the left that your application has been submitted, then we did not receive it yet in the system. You can access all applications that you have, either in progress or ones that you have submitted on the portal. I'm going to go back to that page. This is the main application page again. So if you have an open application that you're working on, you'll see it on that main screen. As long as on the right side, you show in progress applications, you'll be able to click on the application name, continue to complete, or again, go to that very last tab in order to submit the application. All past applications, if you go to the right where that drop-down box is again and click submitted applications, any application that you had submitted in the past will be highlighted there for you. Some highlights on the application details. These are the questions that are asked ahead of time. You do have the opportunity to print the full application if you want to look at it before you go ahead and move forward. But these are the questions that we will ask throughout the application. I'll highlight similar programs and projects. This is the opportunity that if your program is similar to another in the community, why should we fund yours? Quite simply. So let us know if there's a difference between yours and somebody else who's doing some of the similar work. Community engagement references how you are going to engage the community in your services. Let them know that what you're working on is available to them and how to become part of your program. The annual operating budget is going to be a separate sheet. Not all funds are required with this sheet here, but that will be a very short annual operating budget to high-level information, specifically revenue and expenses from there. So just keep an eye out on that one per application. Program budget, again, an annual operating budget. For the program budget, quite simply, expenses, or what are you buying, and funding sources, how are you paying for it? You may include in-kind services if you have approximate values from there. Then we will also ask you the status for other funding sources if they're still pending, perhaps a note there from there when you will hear notification from other funders. And again, the annual operating budget is looking for the most current fiscal year with revenues and expenses. I have a quick example of the program project budget instructions. You actually have up to 8 lines. It's just reduced here for you that we're looking for the expenses for the request only, not for your entire program. Again, if you need items specifically for a request, that's where you will put those items in here. And then funding sources, FCFP is first on there, and any additional funding sources as you move forward, whether it's pending or committed. And again, the status of pending funds. If you have pending, please let us know where you stand on notification from there. Again, just for the request. We do not need the expenses and funding sources for your entire program, your entire organization. Here's a dummy one that I filled in here for you just to give you an idea. Specifically the section about the total expenses and the total funding sources, whether they're committed or pending, must equal. So you're looking for technology, costs $25,000. You're looking for $15,000 from FCFP. On the bottom there, those totals are automatically filled in for you. Under funding sources, again, your amount pending for FCFP is 15. You have 2 other funding sources, 5,000 from one that's pending and 5,000 that's one from committed. Autofill again on the bottom, your total pending and committed totals 25,000. That equals the $25,000 in expenses. You're ready to go. If those do not add, double check your work again. I always say add, and add again, and perhaps give it to somebody else in the office to add and make sure that you have all the numbers correct. There's a section requesting information about grant recognition. If you do receive a grant from FCFP, we do require a press release to be written and submitted to local agencies. Their recognition materials, at least one of these items must be clicked off, and then you will let us know how you would utilize any of these materials in order to recognize FCFP and the grant to your organization. Additional attachments, we do request your current 990 if it is not already uploaded on GuideStar. If your most recent 990 is on GuideStar, you do not have to submit that. We do require the current financial statements audited if available. We understand some small nonprofits do not have audited financials. That's fine, as long as you have somebody looking over your financials. Perhaps write a note to let us know that everything is fiscally responsible for your organization. You would submit that, but again, audited financials if possible. We'll look for a list of staff with titles, your involvement with the program, a list of your board of directors, letters of support from unpaid community members. You may include a board member letter. A paid community member would be if you are working on a construction project. We don't want to have a letter from your architect. That person is receiving dollars remuneration for their work. So that would be a paid community member. We would not accept that as a letter of support. If you are working with other nonprofit organizations, a letter of support from that collaborating organization is really great to have. That way we know we have their buy-in on the front end before you move forward looking for dollars from FCFP. If you have bids or project renderings, you can certainly upload those as well. And there is just another tab for other attachments if you'd like to add anything else to the grant. If you become a grantee of a fund at FCFP, you will receive a grant agreement which will outline everything about the fund, what is required of you, the legalities, what FCFP is responsible for, what you are responsible for. So those are highlighted there on this page, looking on how you would like the funds distributed, the expectation, grant recognition requirements, reporting requirements, a 6-month interim follow-up report is required, and then a 1-year report. That 1 year starts either by payment or by project start date. We do offer up to 1 year if there's an extension needed. That is something we can certainly consider. That would just be a conversation with me and letting me know where you are in your program and why you might need an extension. There's also a section about a failure to comply. If you don't move forward with all of your requirements, the biggest implication, again, is you're unable to apply for a grant from that same fund in the future until everything is settled with the previous grant. In order to access these grant requirements, if you've received a grant from us on that same main screen, you now will have a box on the top left that says requirements. These will be all new, in progress, or submitted requirements. You'll have a list there. You'll click on that form name, complete that, submit that as well. You'll receive automatic emails from our database letting you know if your submission has been approved or if there's anything that needs edited. On the right side, again, with the drop-down box, you'll see new requirements. You'll see in progress requirements, and also submitted requirements. So all requirements you have for any grant will always be held in this history here for you to access at any time. When we're looking for the post-program project evaluation, some things to highlight here is where you are with the stage of completion with your program. How many residents did you impact? Did you work with your collaborating partners? We will ask for an expense report to be uploaded. We'll reiterate your goals. Let us know where you stand on the goals, how you recognize the grant, and if there is a future of the program project, how will you move forward with the sustainability? Sometimes it helps a grantee prior to writing out their application to find out what they're going to need at the end and kind of work backwards. So we have this list here as an opportunity for you to take a look at what a final evaluation would look like. The grant opportunities for FCFP 2024 are starting is a submission through February 15th for our Little League Fund for Youth Sports. This is healthy living programs through sports in Lycoming County, available to grant $5,700 with the minimum and maximum request. That will be shown on the application and the guidelines when you select this one on the list of opportunities. March 1, we have these 3 available, Pearls with a Passion. This is a women's giving society that we have here at the foundation where our society members review what types of programs they would like to do with their fundraising, with their dollars every year. For 2024, they would like to focus on programs that support mental health therapies and services for any age in Columbia, Lycoming, Northumberland, Tioga, and or Union counties. We know we have 32,000 available to grant. I am getting a confirmation on the minimum and maximum. I will have that very soon, and that will be on the guidelines when you take a look at that application. Plunkett's Creek Township Foundation Fund for projects in and around Plunkett's Creek, Barbers area, 14,500 available, no minimum maximum. Waldron Memorial Fund, programs and projects for the benefits of Muncie in Lycoming County. Available to grant 146,000, no minimum, no maximum. The middle of the year will show us our Greater Susquehanna Valley and our Williamsport-Lycoming competitive grant cycles. Applications due June 1 for the Greater Susquehanna Valley. Nonprofits in Montour, Northumberland, Snyder, and Union can apply. Minimum request 5,000, maximum request 25,000. And again, we have 100,000 available to grant for that session. For Williamsport-Lycoming, we are running more of a mini grant for this year. We have 143,000 available for Williamsport-Lycoming. Minimum request 5,000, maximum request 15,000. This is slightly different than some of our previous years. We have some additional dollars we're holding from this grant cycle to potentially have a strategic grant. We're working through that, but this is what we have definitely on the books available for you for June 1. I want to highlight incorporating the diversity, equity, and inclusion and a DEI lens in the grant review. We do ask you questions in the application about your mission statement, your diversity statement, how diversity really works in your organization. FCFP wants to fund partners of ours that match our values, and DEI is very important to FCFP. If you've not worked on a diversity statement with your board and you need some guidance on that, please give me a call and we can certainly walk through what that would look like for your organization. Submissions through October 1 of this year, the FAFT Green Animal Welfare Fund for animal welfare in Coudersport and Potter County. And you'll see the available to grant 29,800, no minimum, no maximum. The Lindig Lewisburg Foundation Fund for the Borough of Lewisburg in Union County. The available to grant will be available to us in July or August. So just check back on our website or in the online portal for the minimum, maximum, and the available to grant there. Lycoming Economic Development Foundation Fund, again, addressing economic development in Lycoming County. 56,600 available to grant, no minimum, no maximum. This is a brand new grant cycle for us here at the foundation. In 2016, when we were fundraising for our building, the FCFP Philanthropy Center, we also worked with some of our donors and asked them to be lead donors on funds that were truly regional, that all of our footprint of Lycoming, Montour, Northumberland, Snyder, and Union would be able to apply for dollars. So we've kind of banked these dollars for the last couple of years, and we are now offering a grant cycle. It will be a $25,000 grant per organization mission. So if you are an arts organization, you can apply for $25,000, human services, $25,000, and then strong neighborhoods such as education, environment, government, health, or recreational organizations would apply for $25,000. So again, that's, you have 25,000, what would you do with it? Again, we would have preference to programs and projects that cross county lines, not a requirement, but a preference. So again, that is new for this year, and more information will be upcoming for that before the deadline, October 1. For 2025, very difficult to understand that I'm working through that already. The Ralph and Josephine Smith Fund is a grant for our Warrior Run School District, Upper Northumberland area, that has a submission due date of January 2nd every year. So we did complete the accepting of applications this year. So this is looking forward to 2025. The available to grant will be ready for us also in that August timeframe. There's usually well over 100,000 available to grant there. But again, keep an eye on our website for this information. And once all of the applications go live, you'll go on the application portal at any time and take a look and see what funds we have available for you to fill out. So those are all my slides. I believe Amy is taking a look to see if there's any questions or anything in the chat bubble that we can review before we go.
So far, Betty, we just have one question that's asking if there's any way to add Montour County to the Pearls with a Passion grants in years coming ahead.
Okay, so the Pearls with the Passion Fund, the grant making area is dependent on where a woman who has pledged $25,000 resides. So we currently do not have what we refer to as an Infinity Pearl from Montour County. Once we, if we are able to open that up with a woman who's willing to pledge that $25,000 then we would open Montour to be part of that. So if you know anybody you think might has the capacity and wants to be philanthropic with our Women's Giving Society, absolutely give the foundation a call. We'll be happy to chat. Grants for Columbia County. Am I seeing that right, Amy?
Yes. Yep.
So we do have Columbia County is included in the Pearls with the Passion this year. Again, the program specific is for mental health services. That's the only one I have specific for Columbia County right now.
Well, the next one says travel expenses are not permitted. However, is mileage permitted if an agency is conducting a training?
Yes. Yes, it is. Travel expenses is really if we're, mileage for training purposes is fine. We would have to look at if you're wanting to send, some of your employees off to a conference, however, we would have to take a look at that. But just main travel expenses, no, but mileage is fine.
The next one says, can you apply for multiple funds? Are there any restrictions on applying for multiple if a fit within your organization with the fund?
No, we have no restriction whatsoever. So if you do have a program that's works within the guidelines of any of those types of funds, you can certainly apply for any of those. Different committee members review each one of those cycles. More often than not, I won't mention if another grant is in a different room or a different cycle unless that's listed on your pending applications, but you can certainly apply for more than one fund.
Will the presentation slides be available?
Yes, the slide itself will be on our website. Again, if you go in that top corner of our webpage and click on grants and go all the way to the bottom, you will see the PowerPoint slides there, and eventually we will upload a video, the recording of this right here for you.
And did you say that the New Century Fund grant will be available in October?
Yes, the deadline date for that is October 1. So we're finishing up the application, and that should be ready to take a look at within the month or so. But the application deadline is October 1.
That's the last question I see. Are there any other questions out there that anybody has that they want to put in?
Okay. Well, you know how to find me. I'm sure the emails and the phone calls will come after to talk about your specific programming, which is fine. Amy, thanks so much for manning the question and answer and making sure I got on time. If you have any questions, again, you can reach us here at 321-1500. There's our website, and there is our management staff information there for you as well. And again, these slides will be available for you before the end of the day on our website. Thank you so much.